Hey guys, and welcome. My name is NG Paradox, and it's time for a new series. The Game of Thrones mod has been updated. If you don't know what's currently going on with the channel and the series right now, go check out my update video that I released a few days ago. It explains everything that's going on the channel right now and how things have gone, and etc. and so forth. But today we're here to talk about the new series. Now, there was one series I did quite a while ago that I know people really enjoyed, I really enjoyed, and it is something that I said there'd be a sequel for, because at one point we did get to a point where the world had kind of created itself quite nicely. But that was the Legacy series, as you probably read from the title. You don't really need me to explain. Now, if you're new to the channel, the Legacy series is basically the idea of where you play as one character, and you keep playing as that character until they die. When they die, you save the game, of course, and you go back to this, and you then randomly choose another person to play as. What I'd normally do is I'll click the random button 5 times, and the ones it lands on, you guys will get a chance to vote on in a straw poll, deciding where we go next. I really enjoyed that series, just because it allows us to go different places. Obviously, I know Westeros is always the most popular, but it does allow us sometimes to go to some more interesting places. Well, not more interesting maybe, but some of you I know. Westeros is probably the most interesting place, but it does allow us to go to some other interesting places and try out some new things. So I enjoyed the series for that. It meant things were always different all the time. Also, it was in the Shattered Realms. So we shattered the whole world, everything was just one county, and we had to build up from the beginning. I think we started out as the Tullys last time. That was a lot of fun. The kingdom we created as the Tullys ended up becoming kind of the main big nation of the world by the time we finished. So that was really nice to see. The one we started as was still very important and influential by the end of this series. We're going to do the same thing once again. We are going to do Shattered World. I'm not going to use the mods Shattered World here, because if you click on this, one cool thing actually, you can actually see how many dragons there are. Because what it does is actually it randomizes all the families. If you do Shattered World in the mod, Winterfell will not have a Stark in. At least when I checked it, I did it a second ago, and that's exactly what happened. There was no Stark in Winterfell. Different people everywhere, so it kind of randomizes everyone. And I want us to be able to play with some of the families that we know and love. So I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to use the normal Shattered World we used last time. But you can do cool things like the number of dragons and stuff, which I think is a really fun little thing right there. So if that's something you want to do, you have more dragons or less dragons in a certain time period, you can go play that. So last time we did it, I think we played in the Bleeding Years or the War of Conquest. I don't remember which one, but we did start off in one of the earlier start dates because I thought it'd be kind of cool to start there. But this one's going to be slightly different because this time I want us to play in a Clash of Kings. Now, this might seem silly because obviously in a Clash of Kings, well, let's just put it, there's a lot of things going down. There's a lot of wars and stuff. Now, I want to play this in a Shattered World, because even though we won't have these cool wars going on, the War of the Five Kings and whatnot, and Dany rising up maybe in the east, what we will get is a lot of characters that we know and love. So the world will be shattered, Each individual county will be independent. So you have the Lannisters over here, the Arryns over here, of course, but also like your characters that we know. So Robb Stark will be the Stark in Winterfell. So I think this will be a nice way to make it slightly different from last time, but not too different. Also, remember, there will be no Aegon in Dragonstone, which is quite a big part of last time. This time, though, we may have Dany. I actually don't know how Dany's going to work, though, if we do Shattered World. So that is actually something I'm going to have to try and find out how that works. Well, I guess we'll see as we go along. We have Stannis and stuff, so I think we kind of feel, obviously things are a little bit different now from the earlier start dates. So things are slightly different. It's a slightly different thing, but we get characters we know and love. So for today's part, this is just the first part explaining what we're doing, and we're going to actually do the random characters. So we're going to click this button 5 times. You guys are then going to have a chance to vote in the description. So if you look in the description, there will be a link to the straw poll, and you guys can vote for who you'd like us to be for the first person in Legacies 2. I guess I'm going to call it Legacy 2, this series. Yeah, that makes sense to me. It just makes sense. We'll just call it Legacies. Rather than Legacy, we'll call it Legacies. Like there's Alien, then there's Aliens. Yeah, you know what? I like that. I like that. See, guys, that's how I do my creative work. I just do it on the fly. But yeah, so we're going to do it in this one. I think it'll be kind of fun. Why not the Feast of Crows? I feel like in Feast of Crows we like the Starks in Winterfell or something, so I feel like a Clash of Kings is a bit less, you know, things have changed a bit less in a Clash of Kings, so I kind of like it for that. So let's see what 5 choices we get. Now, just before I click this, because I'm anticipating, who will it be? Will it be a Stark? Will it be someone in Novos? Will it be in Slaver's Bay? Will we start in the Summer Islands? I'm sure you all have someone you'd like to see. Actually, before I do click it as well, guys, tell me in the comment section, who would you like to see? Is it a specific person you'd like to see, or is there a specific area of the world you would like to see us start in? Just want to know your thoughts before I click it, and then we'll see if obviously that does pop up. That'd be nice obviously if they do. But just a few rules before we begin. As I said, we'll start off as a character. If they die, doesn't matter how they die, if they die young from disease or battle, if they die of old age, we will then go back to this screen and we randomly choose another person to continue the story. So let's say if we create the Vale in our first, we become an Aaron and we create the Vale, we'll then save it, go off, come back to here. The Vale will still be there and all the other events have happened in the world, but then we choose a new person to start as. So we could then build a new empire in Liss or something. I really do enjoy it, actually. It's quite a lot of fun. But, a couple of rules. Number one, if we start out as someone who's over 50, so if you guys vote for someone who's 50, we will play as them and their heir. Okay? So if there's someone who comes up who's 50 years old, do not worry. Don't think, oh, there's no point voting for him. He could die at any point. The idea would be if he does die, no matter how he dies, we will play as the heir. So if he dies in battle, disease, or whatever, we will also play as his heir. But then how his heir dies, that will be the end of that family, and we'll go to another one, okay? Really, that's the only rule that I can think of off the top of my head. So let's jump in then. Number 1. And who do we have? We have the Marsh Family in the neck. Okay, that's a pretty interesting one. In Cherwell. They're in a very good position. Now remember, this is not how the reason I'm not got it on the Realms map is because this doesn't matter. It will all be in Shattered Realms. So we could start off in Cherwell. It's a nice position, you know, around here where you got these impassable places. Starting in the neck, obviously, a lot of good, you know, we can make a little cool neck kingdom, maybe. I think that's a pretty nice one. Okay, the Marsh family. Bowen Marsh. Ah, yes, of course there's Bowen Marsh. I was just trying to think of a famous Marsh. I don't know how you guys feel about Marsh. I know Bowen Marsh is, shall we say, not a popular character. I actually quite like Bowen Marsh because I feel like his heart is in a good place. I don't think he's actually a bad guy. I think he really does think that the wildlings are a threat to Westeros, and that's why he can't accept what Jon does. Again, spoilers, of course. But then again, if it's, you know, it's been on the TV show, it can't be spoilers by now. And then again, he's not even in the TV show. But, no, he is. I think he is actually in the TV show, just not as important of it. He doesn't have as much speaking roles. But, yes. So I actually feel bad for Bowen Marsh. I don't think he's evil or anything. I just think he thinks he's one of those people who does a bad thing, but he thinks he's doing it for the right reason, but he's wrong. That's the sad thing. He is wrong. Jon is right, really, at the end of the day. But yeah, we could start as a Marsh there. Okay, so number 2 then. We have someone far, far away. So we could start in Qarth, the city of Qarth, and it would be the city of Qarth. It is actually the leader. So we could actually start in Qarth itself. We could build the grand city, a majestic city, one to make the world jealous. So 2 interesting choices so far. If you want us to play as a Qarthian, you know, the Warlocks, we could definitely start over here. Obviously, it's a bit isolated, but east and west, obviously, there are some interesting places. Interesting. I like these 2 choices so far. We got someone in the north, or in the neck. A lot of people like Westeros in the north, so that could be a popular one. I think also a lot of people like Qarth itself as the city could be a popular one. I think those are good so far. Okay, number 3 then. Also, how old is he? He looks very old. He's 52. So keep that in mind. We would also play as his heir. So that's something maybe to keep in mind if you're planning to vote for him. Number 3. We have the Magister of Pentos, Illyrio. Really? Okay, so we've actually got a character we know quite well. Illyrio of Pentos. Again, another major city. We got Pentos itself. Now, he must be over 50, yeah? 56. Okay, guys, if you want to play in Pentos, We could start out as Illyrio, which I think might be a popular one just because we do know him as a named character. He's an interesting character, he's an intriguing character. We don't know much about him. That could potentially be a fun one for people. I like all three so far. And remember, do keep in mind, it will be Shattered World. So that means none of this, there'll be no Pentos. It'll just be one county. Do keep that in mind. That's very important. So number 4 then. Who will we have? Oh my. Okay, we have Stannis Baratheon. Okay, we have Stannis Baratheon in Dragonstone, I guess. That was unexpected. I thought it'd be kind of cool if we got a main character. I didn't think it would actually happen. But we could start in Dragonstone as Stannis Baratheon. I know Stannis has his big fan, his very, very fanatic fans out there. So I think Stannis has a pretty good chance. I think him and Illyrio, actually, I think the Marsh is a good one. It's in the north. It's a pretty cool area. And obviously playing in Qarth. I think all 4 great choices so far. I wish we could be all of them personally, but it's not up to me. It's up to you guys. I know I would not be able to decide right now. I actually don't think I could decide. I like them all for very, very different reasons. So, there we go. So we've got Stannis Baratheon, the man himself, the true king, of course, the true king. Lord of Light, of course, as well, and killer of his own children. But yes. And number 5. Who will it be? Who is the last person who get in? And it's... okay. We could start off on Skagos as a Crowl of Deep Down. So that's the one up here. We could start off in an island of it. That could be a fun one because you actually have a lot of choices you could make. Either you could take over the island, make your own little land here, just stay there maybe. You could cross over though into the north, or maybe you set sail for some different lands potentially. I don't know. It's definitely a choice, but that could be a fun one as well. Okay, guys. There are your choices. We got 2 people in the north. So if you're a North fan, well, I mean, one's a Crannogman and one's a Skagosi. So they're not exactly Northmen, but they're part of the north. So if you like Northmen, there's 2 good choices there, I think, for very different reasons. Very well-known in particular areas as well. If you're a big fan of Stannis, of course, Stannis is your man. Stannis Lemanus, of course. If you want something to be in maybe Essos, playing one of the cities, a major city of Pentos as Illyrio, and we can play as his heir, remember, you can always vote for him. How old is this guy? 37. Or if you want us to play in the far east as the city of Qarth and bring it to glory from nothing, the ashes it comes from, you can vote for them in the description. So there you go, guys. There we have it. Obviously, in this scenario, there's not really a lore reason why there's a shattered world. The way I'm going to go through it is that when Eddard Stark had his head cut off, you know, Robb Stark started heading down south to go invade Joffrey. But as that was getting ready, as the War of the Five Kings was about to begin, a second doom happened. That's what happened. The second doom happened, it exploded, it rocked the world, and people went crazy. Everyone lost their minds thinking it was the end of the world, and it ended up not being that. But it ended up shattering everyone's mindset. Everyone decided they were independent. Everyone raised their banners of independence. It was a new world. Cities had been rocked and destroyed. Armies had been separated apart due to the doom. Everyone went crazy and went home. And so everyone's now declared independence. No one now sees the old, shall we say, vassalizations. No one sees the old authorities anymore. They say the second doom is the beginning of a new era, where the old authorities no longer exist. That's how we're going to play the lore, I think, for this. That's the most likely thing I think of that can make sense. So, if you can think of a different reason why everyone is shattered into their own independent realms, tell me down below, and maybe I'll make that the lore. But so far, that's going to be it from me. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think. I have a feeling I know who's going to win. I do have a feeling, but I think they're all really good choices. And whichever one you guys choose, I'm going to be very happy with. It's going to be a fun ride. Remember, even if your one doesn't win this time, there's a chance next time, when that character dies, we'll come back and we'll do it all over again with 5 more characters. If you'd like to see any more rules added, maybe in the future, maybe you think 5 is too many, maybe you should only be randomized 3, or maybe you think 5 is too few, it should be more. Please tell me down in the comment section. I will put everything under consideration, but for now, those are my rules, and I like it that way, but I'm definitely up to consideration. Any new ideas that I enjoy, I will incorporate. Okay, guys? So until next time, see you then, And remember, this will be a normal series where I will be role-playing as the character's traits as much as possible, but with the view to win the game. Keep that in mind as well. So, yep, see you next time, guys. In a few days' time, maybe just a couple of days, I'm going to look at the votes, whichever one is winning, I'm going to start recording. So maybe look out, you know, Monday, Tuesday. That will probably be the time we'll start this series popping up on YouTube. So I'm looking forward to it. A new year, a new series, a new legacy. See you around.